Living in Hungary is a fascinating experience full of rich cultural traditions and unique customs that make this small country incredibly special. One of the things that stand out most in Hungary is how much the people embrace their culture and their natural surroundings. Hungary may not be large in size, but it more than makes up for it in its deep-rooted history, strong traditions, and vibrant social life. So, let's dive into some of the most interesting aspects of life in Hungary. A cultural bathing tradition. A deep love for thermal baths is one of the first things that might surprise you about Hungary. Imagine lounging men and women together in warm, mineral-rich waters, often undressed. This isn't some casual spa day, it's a centuries-old tradition that Hungarians love to enjoy. Budapest is known for its many thermal springs. There are over 123 in Budapest alone. These thermal baths are not only about relaxation. For some, they are a social gathering. These natural hot springs are a gathering place for people from all walks of life, from young to old, where conversation flows as freely as the water. They also have famous baths, such as the Gellert baths and Széchenyi baths, which are also known for their healing properties. Locals and visitors alike believe the water has the mineral content that can help with everything from joint pain to stress. Families, friends, and even strangers sharing a soak, chatting about daily life, or just enjoying the peaceful atmosphere is all too common. Bathing in Hungary is more than just physical well-being. It's a social and cultural experience that unites people in a very Hungarian way. A unique financial incentive for marriage. Hungary is experiencing a declining population, so the government has taken some unique steps to encourage families to grow. For example, a financial bonus given to couples who marry and have children is one. Yes, it's true, you can make some money in Hungary if you get married and start a family. The declining birth rate has become a big worry for Hungary, where experts say the population could soon shrink dramatically. The government has responded to this by introducing a variety of policies, such as interest-free loans for couples who get married. A loan that can be quite a substantial amount can be forgiven if a couple has a third child. This initiative aims to encourage young people to settle down and have children to reverse the population decline. It may sound unusual, but it's a reflection of Hungary's determination to keep its future and keep its population strong and vibrant. Budapest's thriving nightlife. Budapest's capital city turns into a hive of energy and excitement once the sun sets in Hungary's capital. The nightlife here isn't just about partying, it's a history, music, and social scene rolled into one. Bars and clubs along the Danube River get busy with people from all over the world, creating a unique atmosphere blending the city's architectural heritage with contemporary entertainment. Budapest has something for everyone, whether you're into electronic music, jazz, or traditional Hungarian folk performances. The most iconic ruin bars of Budapest's nightlife. These are bars created in these abandoned buildings or courtyards and have a quirkiness that you can't find anywhere else. Ruin bars are decorated with mismatched furniture, graffiti-covered walls, and an eclectic mix of art, and are a favorite of locals. They offer a laid-back, casual environment where you can grab a drink, listen to music, and meet new people. If you're looking for a more sophisticated night out, Budapest also boasts a number of stylish cocktail bars, where expert bartenders craft drinks using local ingredients like fruit brandies and mineral waters. No matter your taste, the city's nightlife offers something unforgettable. The tradition of not clinking glasses. Drinking beer in Hungary is one of the more curious customs you might notice. People do not clink their glasses. It is a somber part of Hungarian history from which it springs. 13 Hungarian generals were executed after the failed Hungarian Revolution of 1848 against the Habsburgs. They say the Austrians had a tradition of celebrating such deaths by clinking beer glasses. Hungarians vowed never to clink their beer glasses for 150 years. It was a long time ago, however, the tradition is still very strong. This custom is a tiny but strong reminder of Hungary's fight for independence and the respect it has for those who fought for freedom. Beer is off limits, but you can clink glasses when you're drinking wine or spirits. It is just a small gesture, but it reflects Hungary's respect for its history and traditions. If you're looking for one of Europe's hidden gems, Hungary is one of them. It has a high quality of life, but not at the expense of your bank balance. Hungary, if you're looking for a pretty and affordable place to live. This country has a low cost of living and a good exchange rate, giving an incredible balance of affordable and luxury. We'll see what it's like to live in Hungary, whether the lifestyle is affordable, and what culinary traditions have to offer, as well as what are some of its more unique festivals. The allure of Hungarian women. Hungarian women are renowned for their looks and their presence. Not only is their beauty special, but also the combination of natural grace, intelligence, and profound knowledge of their culture makes Hungarian women special. Imagine yourself walking through the streets of Budapest, and you'll quickly see the graceful figures and the radiant smiles of Hungarian women. Deep eyes, silky hair, and refined facial features are the things they are known for. What makes them so captivating, though, is how they walk with quiet confidence. Beyond physical beauty, Hungarian women are often described as intellectual and well-educated. Raised in a culture rich with history, art, and literature, they are knowledgeable and able to discuss a wide range of topics with ease and grace. Whether talking about the latest in fashion or delving into Hungary's rich political history, Hungarian women offer a balance of beauty and brains that is hard to beat. They also have a modern approach to life while still respecting traditional values. Many Hungarian women pursue successful careers and personal ambitions, but they also hold family and cultural traditions close to their hearts. This blend of modernity and tradition creates a unique allure that makes them both strong and endearing. The cheapest country in Europe, known for having one of the lowest costs of living of any country in Europe, Hungary is today. It's a dream if you're someone who loves the thought of living comfortably on a budget. Whatever reason you have for settling down in Hungary for a few weeks or even a few years, Hungary's got a heck of a lot of bang for your buck. The local currency, the Hungarian forint, HUF, typically works in your favor, especially if you're coming from countries that use the euro or US dollar. This favorable exchange rate means that everyday expenses, from meals to accommodations, will feel a lot more manageable than in other European countries. When you arrive, don't stress about exchanging money right away. Hungary's infrastructure is highly tourist-friendly, allowing you to easily convert dollars or euros into forints at banks, currency exchange offices, or even ATM machines scattered throughout the city. In major cities like Budapest, most businesses, including restaurants and shops, readily accept credit cards, so you won't have to carry a lot of cash around unless you prefer to do so. Hungarian cuisine, delicious and budget-friendly. Hungary is not just about affordability, it's also about enjoying life's pleasures, and that includes food. Hungarian cuisine is a delightful mix of flavors with rich, hearty dishes that reflect the country's love for comfort food. Best of all, eating out in Hungary won't drain your wallet. At a local Hungarian restaurant, you can savor a filling meal for as little as $5 to $12. Picture yourself indulging in a bowl of piping hot goulash, a famous Hungarian dish made with tender beef, potatoes, onions, and a generous amount of paprika. This traditional stew is more than just a meal. It's a symbol of Hungarian hospitality and warmth, particularly during the colder months. If you're in the mood for something fancier, Hungary won't disappoint. Elegant dining experiences are also within reach, with upscale restaurants offering gourmet meals for around $20 to $30 per person. These higher-end options are perfect for celebrating a special occasion or simply treating yourself to an exquisite culinary adventure. Prefer cooking at home? Shopping for groceries in Hungary is equally economical. A week's worth of groceries for one person typically costs around $30 to $50, depending on your preferences. From fresh produce to local meats and cheeses, Hungarian markets are full of delicious ingredients that will inspire your inner chef. The rich culinary heritage of Hungary. Hungarian cuisine isn't about being cheap, it's about embracing the history of big flavors and big meals. As we already mentioned, goulash is a country's main dish. It is a spicy stew of beef, vegetables, and Hungary's signature spice of paprika that is often eaten on cold winter days to bring warmth and comfort in every spoonful. However, that's just the beginning. Pörkolt is another beloved dish, a savory meat stew that's sort of like goulash but with a few subtle differences. Pörkolt is made with pork, chicken, or beef and is slow-cooked with onions, tomatoes, and paprika. Typically served with nokadli, small potato dumplings that only the sauce could love. If you have a sweet tooth, Hungary has something special for you. The famous dobos torta. This richly layered cake has multiple layers of sponge cake, filled with buttercream made of chocolate and finished with a crunchy caramel glaze. Being a true masterpiece of Hungarian baking, this is named after the renowned pastry chef József Dobos. Dobos torta every bite is a delicious reminder of Hungary's culinary history. Housing in Hungary. Looking for a place to stay in Hungary? The housing market here offers great options, whether you're looking for short-term rentals or long-term living arrangements. In Budapest, a bustling capital city known for its stunning architecture and rich history, the rent for a one-bedroom apartment typically ranges from $600 to $800 a month. Not bad for a city that rivals Paris or Vienna in terms of beauty. If you prefer the quieter charm of smaller towns, you'll be delighted to find even lower rent prices. In smaller cities, you can snag a comfortable one-bedroom apartment for as low as $400 to $500 per month. These affordable prices make Hungary an attractive option for both tourists and expats. Utilities like electricity, water, gas, and internet usually add another $100 to $140 to your monthly expenses, which is still far below what you'd expect to pay in other European countries. This makes it possible to enjoy modern comforts without blowing through your savings. Festival of people dressing like demons. The food and the affordability are just parts of Hungary. It's also a land of interesting traditions and festivals, which are all rooted in its history. Busojaras is one of the most unique and exciting celebrations because people dress up as demons and scare away the winter to welcome spring. And every February, since 2003, this annual event has been held in the Baranya region town of Mohacs. The festival goes back to 1526, when the local villagers put on a show of fearsome monsters to frighten the invading Turkish army. Today, it's Busojaras, a much more lighthearted affair, but the tradition of dressing up in scary costumes continues. Participants put on elaborate costumes and terrifying masks, turning into fierce-looking creatures that parade through the streets and dance around large bonfires. The festival is all about celebrating the end of winter, and it's a joyous occasion filled with music, dancing, and wine. Locals and visitors alike join in the fun, dancing around the flames and enjoying traditional Hungarian music. The UNESCO-recognized festival is now part of Hungary's cultural heritage and is an unforgettable experience for anyone lucky enough to visit during this time of year. Naming babies. Hungary has a weird and somewhat odd rule when it comes to naming babies. There's a list, and you can't just pick any name out of a hat. Yes, you read that right. When wanting to name your child something different, you first need to have it approved by the government. Don't worry though, it's not as bad as it sounds. The list of approved baby names is regularly updated, and there are plenty of choices. If you cannot find the name you have in mind, then there is a way to request approval, so to speak, from the Hungarian Academy of Sciences through their Research Institute for Linguistics. Don't they sound pretty official? It's not as simple as just filling out a form. The guidelines for naming your characters are pretty strict. It must be easy to write and pronounce, respectful, and clearly indicate the gender of the child. That means names that are offensive or too ambiguous aren't allowed. While this might sound complicated, it's Hungary's way of ensuring that names remain traditional and respectful, while still allowing room for new, modern names to make their way into the culture. What's with the number 96 in Budapest? You might have noticed something odd about the skyline of Budapest if you've ever wandered through Budapest. The buildings in the central parts of the city are nearly all the same height, with just two notable exceptions towering above the rest: the Parliament Building and the Saint Stephen's Basilica are stunning. Then what's so special about these two? No, it's no coincidence that both structures are exactly 96 meters tall. The historical interest in this height limit is related to Hungary's past. The number 96 represents a key moment in the country's history. When the ancestors of the modern Hungarians first settled in the Carpathian Basin, that was in the year 896. From Arpad's coronation as the first leader of the Magyars in 1000 AD, Hungary is now a nation in its own right. In remembrance of this important event, Budapest has decreed that any building within the city shall not exceed 96 meters in height. But it is a tribute to Hungary's rich cultural heritage and a reminder to the country of its roots. But wait, that isn't even the end of it. 1,000 years after Hungary's founding, the Hungarian state was celebrated with the construction of the country's metro system in 1896. The Hungarian national anthem has a connection to this number as well. It's sung until it lasts 96 seconds. And if you've ever looked up at Budapest's skyline, you now know the deeper meaning behind its uniform height and the historical significance of the number 96. Hungary's wine legacy, first official wine region of the world. While Hungary is enchantingly architectural and historically rich, it's more than that. Tokaj, which is also known as one of the world's most famous wine regions, is where the first officially recognized wine-producing region on the planet is. That's right, long before the famous regions of France and Italy made their mark, Hungary's Tokaj region was setting the standard for winemaking. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Tokaj's history of grape cultivation stretches back over 2,000 years. This rich tradition of winemaking has made Hungarian wines some of the most coveted in Europe. The region is especially famous for its sweet dessert wine, Togehter, which has been described as the wine of kings and the king of wines by none other than King Louis XIV of France. With a flavor profile full of rich, sweet notes like dried fruits, honey, and spices, it's easy to see why Togehter has maintained its legendary status over the centuries. The unique climate and fertile soil of the Tokaj region create ideal conditions for growing grapes, especially the ferment variety, which is the key to producing Togehter. This wine is not just any sweet wine. It's made using a special process in which the grapes are allowed to become affected by noble rot, a beneficial fungus that concentrates the sugars in the grapes, resulting in the distinct flavor profile of Togehter. And if you're a fan of wine aged in oak barrels, you'll be interested to know that Hungary is famous for its Hungarian oak. Alongside French and American oak, Hungarian oak is one of the three main types of oak used for aging wine. The oak comes from the Zemplén Mountains, near Tokaj, and it's known for giving wines a more subtle and creamy flavor compared to its French and American counterparts. Hungarian oak barrels were highly prized in the wine world up until the communist era, but today, they're making a strong comeback. Hungary's dark historical figure, the infamous female serial killer. Not all of Hungary's history has been joyous. Not only is this the country where one of history's most notorious female serial killers, Elizabeth Bathory, called home, but it is also a country. Bathory, born into Hungarian nobility in the 16th century, is the most notorious female murderer in history, and one of the most prolific. Over a 25-year period from 1585 to 1610, Bathory and her accomplices were accused of torturing and murdering hundreds of young girls. The most infamous rumor that she was into was bathing in the blood of virgins so that she would be young. The number of her victims is debated, but Guinness World Records claims over 650 deaths. Bathory's gruesome legacy has inspired many legends and comparisons to other infamous figures such as Vlad the Impaler. The story of her remains one of the darkest chapters in Hungarian history and remains a source of fascination to people all over the world. The quirky tradition of dressing like demons. Not all of Hungary's traditions are as refined as winemaking or architectural uniformity. In fact, one of Hungary's most unusual festivals involves locals dressing up as demons. Each year in February, the town of Mohacs hosts the Busojaras festival, where people don creepy, demonic costumes and masks to celebrate the end of winter and welcome the arrival of spring. The origins of this tradition are rooted in Hungary's history. Legend has it that during the 16th century, when the Ottoman Turks occupied parts of Hungary, the villagers of Mohacs decided to scare off the invaders by dressing up as frightening monsters. They succeeded, and the tradition has continued ever since, albeit in a much more celebratory fashion. Today, Busojaras is a colorful and lively event, featuring parades, dancing, and huge bonfires. People of all ages participate, and the streets are filled with an eerie yet festive atmosphere. Participants wear elaborate demon masks, often made from wood and fur costumes, creating a scene that looks straight out of a fantasy novel. As night falls, the festivities continue with traditional Hungarian music, dancing around the bonfires, and plenty of wine and local spirits. The festival has become so iconic that it's now recognized by UNESCO as part of Hungary's cultural heritage. Hungarian inventors and their global impact. One of Hungary's most famous inventions is the Rubik's Cube. This colorful puzzle has puzzled and entertained people for decades. But did you know it was created by a Hungarian architect? Erno Rubik came up with the Rubik's Cube in 1974 while trying to teach his students about three-dimensional movement. What started as a teaching tool quickly became a global sensation, and today it's sold millions of units worldwide with people of all ages trying to solve its tricky puzzles. But the Rubik's Cube is just one example. Another Hungarian invention that you probably use every day is the ballpoint pen. It's hard to imagine modern life without this handy tool, but it was actually invented by Laszlo Biro, a Hungarian journalist. Biro noticed that fountain pens had a tendency to smudge and run out of ink quickly, so he developed a new type of pen that used a small rotating ball to distribute ink smoothly. The ballpoint pen revolutionized the way people wrote, and today it's one of the most commonly used writing tools in the world. The legacy of Hungary's most notorious historical figure. As beautiful and rich in culture as Hungary is, it also has its share of darker history. One of the most infamous figures in Hungary's past is Elizabeth Bathory, a noblewoman from the 16th century who holds the grim title of the world's most prolific female serial killer. Elizabeth Bathory, often referred to as the Blood Countess, is believed to have tortured and murdered hundreds of young girls between 1585 and 1610. The most shocking part of her story is the rumor that she bathed in the blood of her victims, believing it would keep her youthful. Although the exact number of her victims remains uncertain, some estimates put the figure as high as 650. Her crimes eventually led to her arrest and trial, and her legacy has lived on in the form of legends and comparisons to other notorious historical figures, such as Vlad the Impaler. Though the stories surrounding her life are gruesome, they have become a part of Hungary's dark folklore. Bathory's tale has inspired countless books, films, and even comparisons to Dracula, cementing her place as one of Hungary's most infamous historical figures. Hungarian ingenuity in the automotive industry. Isn't it funny how even one of the most iconic cars ever must also have a Hungarian engineer as part of its creation? Ferdinand Porsche is credited as the designer of the Volkswagen Beetle, but Béla Barányi, a Hungarian-born engineer, patented many of the key safety designs that later became part of the Beetle. But Barányi was a pioneer in automotive safety and is often called the father of passive safety in automobiles. His designs involved a vehicle that would protect its passengers in the event of a crash, something that was very early in the field. It was Barányi's focus on safety that would form the basis for one of the most popular and longest-lasting cars in automotive history. Even though Porsche was best known for its car's exterior, it is a note of how Hungarian inventors have added to the development of industries beyond the borders of their country. The river Danube, Hungary's lifeline. Running through the heart of Hungary is the mighty Danube River, one of Europe's most important waterways. The Danube connects Hungary with other countries, and throughout history, it has played a critical role in trade, travel, and culture. In Budapest, the Danube divides the city into two distinct parts, Buda and Pest. This natural divide creates a picturesque backdrop for the city's stunning architecture and has been a source of inspiration for poets, musicians, and artists for centuries. But the Danube isn't just a pretty river, it's also a vital artery for Hungary's ecosystem. The diverse landscapes that surround the river, from the Carpathian Mountains to the fertile plains of the Pannonian Basin, create rich habitats for a wide range of wildlife. The river's importance to Hungary cannot be overstated, as it provides a connection to other European countries and serves as a source of sustenance for the country's agriculture and fishing industries. Modern computing, the evolution. When it comes to technology and computing, one name stands out: John von Neumann. Hungarian-born, von Neumann is considered one of the fathers of modern computing. His pioneering work on computer architecture was the basis of how modern computers work. Actually, his architecture is the basis of most modern computers. What von Neumann contributed wasn't just computing. He is also a contributor to fields such as quantum mechanics, game theory, and mathematics. His intellectual achievements have marked him as one of the most important scientists and technicians of the 20th century. Hungary is a country that has left a lasting mark on history. Whether it's through the creativity of its inventors, the beauty of its capital city, or the strength of its people, Hungary's influence is undeniable.